As we contemplate all that, we go to Bob Orr in Washington with more information. Bob?
Yeah, Dan, we're getting some of the first official numbers in now from the airlines involved and from the FAA. United Airlines now is telling us on the two airplanes involved in the attack that were United jets, one being a 757 and the other a 767, there were 45 people on the flight from Newark to San Francisco, 45 people, total of passengers, pilots, and flight attendants. And on the 767 United flight, which left Boston bound for Los Angeles, we now understand there were 65 people on board that airplane. Now, the two American flights, and this information I will tell you comes from the Associated Press. American Flight 77, which was Dulles to Los Angeles, we now believe had 64 people on board, and the 767 from Boston to Los Angeles had 92 people on board. These were large airplanes capable of carrying more than that, but that is still a significant loss of life. In addition, the FAA has just told us a short time ago that there is now somewhat of a new concern. There are 22, we should say at least 22, international flights still in the air at this moment bound for the United States. There was some question about what should be done with those flights. The New York airspace is closed. The Washington airports are closed. Apparently now a decision has been made to allow the international flights to land. We're not sure exactly where. It is common when there are weather problems to divert those flights to either, say, Boston or Atlanta, even perhaps as far south as Miami. But I don't believe, from what we've been told, that they will be going into the New York or Washington area. In addition, there are also 50 domestic airline flights that are still in the air. These are planes that took off this morning during peak rush hour times and who literally were caught in the air when this terrorism attack unfolded. Even though the national aviation system has been closed down, those 50 planes obviously will be allowed to land, and the FAA says that it does not see any particular problem with that. One further point, picking up on something correspondent Jim Stewart said a while ago, the planes involved in the attacks this morning were widely used, readily accessible commercial airline planes, 757s, 767s, and these are fairly easy to fly. Now, I say that with the understanding that if you have a rudimentary knowledge of flying, certainly if you're militarily trained, even if you are a civilian pilot, even of moderate skills, these planes are relatively easy to fly. They can be difficult and touchy to land, but in a situation where we saw that they were used basically as flying bombs, it's not difficult for someone with some rudimentary skills to take the control and sadly steer that kind of an airplane into a building. I would agree with what Jim said earlier, and this is in the realm of just theory and speculation, if you will. But I know a number of airline pilots have been through a number of their training programs, and I can't envision an airline pilot deliberately taking his plane into a populated area or into a large high-rise like the World Trade Center. He would, I think, in almost every circumstance, force the hijacker, if that's what it was, to take control in some kind of commandeer mode. So we're still getting preliminary information from the FAA, but certainly as far as the people on board the airplanes, the death count is not as terrible as it might have been at first blush. We're still checking, Dan.